Inside of the gas version of the Equinox, there's a single engine choice that's available, and that's a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, pushes out 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. Well, it's not the most powerful car out there, but it's peppy for what it is. So let's get back up to highway speed here, and we'll go in 3, 2, and... Come on, Chevy! 100. So, is it the most powerful car you're going to find out there? No, not at all. But again, if you're looking for just a good daily driver, it's acceptable amount of power, and the engine does compete with a number of other vehicles that are in this size. You also get pretty good fuel economy too, which is kind of a win-win. Would be nice, especially in the RS, to see a 2-liter turbo, but the 1.5 still has enough peppiness. Then underneath the hood here, it's nice and simple. There's a teeny engine cover, but most of the components are still visible. You can easily change your oil if you'd like to. There's easy access to the battery, and then also topping up your wiper fluid. Looking at the warranty inside of the Chevrolet world, it's pretty industry standard. Your basic is going to be a 3-year, 36,000 mile, 60,000 kilometer. Powertrain gets bumped up to 5 years, 60,000 mile, 100,000 kilometers. So you do get pretty good coverage overall, with the option of increasing that warranty at time of purchase if you really wanted to. Just do yourself a favor. Regularly scheduled maintenance, regular oil changes to make sure you protect this turbocharged engine. And if you're spending $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a car, you might want to take care of it. And if you do, these cars can last. One thing that I like about the RS trim level inside of the Equinox is the unique grille. The RS badge does look fairly sharp, but the grille separates it from the rest of the lineup. You're going to find LED headlamps inside of the ride, regardless of the trim level that you're in. And then technology-wise, you're also going to find the option for a forward-facing camera. So that front-facing camera does give you a full 360 monitor, which is great. And the overall camera quality you're going to find inside of this car is actually surprisingly nice. Even at nighttime, I find a lot of cameras tend to suffer quality issues at night. This one does not face that problem. The high-def camera is fantastic. But one thing you won't find in any trim level is a forward park sensing system. So that's not available inside of the Equinox at all. Inside of the Equinox, you are looking at either 17s or 19s as a default, with 17s being in the lower trims and then the 19-inch inside of the RS. The entry-level trim is front-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive in the other trim levels of the vehicle. And it does have the flexibility of being able to move from 2-wheel drive into an all-wheel drive system just using a simple button. So if you wanted better economy, you can swap it to front-wheel drive if you'd like. Just next to the driver's side wheel, you will find the option for the engine block heater too. The rear end styling of the Equinox is unchanged year over year. You're going to find LED tail lamps inside of the ride, and then there's the option for the reverse park sensing system. You're always going to find a backup camera, there's the rear wiper, and then up high there's also the option for a top-mounted camera, and that's going to give you a fully digital rear view, which does look pretty nice. Towing inside of the Equinox is possible. Doesn't matter which trim level that you're in, front wheel, all-wheel drive, maxing out at 1,500 pounds. So small boats, bike rack carriers, trailers, things like that, you shouldn't have an issue inside of this ride. And getting into the trunk can be done a few different ways. There's a button along the driver's side door. You can use the key fob to do it. Just underneath the Chevrolet badge, next to the backup camera, there's a button there that you can push. And then there's also the option for a hands-free liftgate. As long as the feature is enabled and you've got the key fob on you, you're just going to walk up towards the back end of the ride. And inside of the trunk area, there's not too much. Off to the left-hand side, you're going to find a little light. Along the right-hand side, there's another light along with a 12-volt power point. And that 12 volt, unfortunately, is the only one that you're gonna find inside of this ride. I'd love to see one more up front, because if you've got a dash cam that you haven't hardwired in, or any accessory that requires a 12 volt, you'd have to just kind of run the wire through, which just looks messy in and of itself. This is just the regular carpeted mat, and you do have the option for a rubberized tray, whether you get that through Chevrolet directly or through WeatherTech aftermarket. But lifting up the little tray in the back here, a little bit of storage, but lifting that up, you're going to find a mini spare tire. So it is a 17-inch mini, and then the jack stand is located just underneath. So if you ever pop a tire, puncture a tire, need it changed out, you could do it yourself. But one of the nice things about being a Chevrolet owner is that you have access to roadside assistance. That's 5 years of coverage with the same terms as the powertrain warranty. So you're 60,000 mile, 100,000 kilometers. So if you need tire changing help, locked yourself out of your car, you need fuel delivery and a few other things, that is covered. Just one of the benefits of being a Chevrolet owner. Folding down the second row seats can be done from the trunk or from the second row. So just depending on whether or not you can reach. Reaching it from the trunk just along the top. So a 60-40 bench, so it's 40% on the driver, 60 on the passenger. So folding down is easy enough. And it's not a completely flat fold, but you get a solid amount of space in the back end of this ride. The measurements that you're looking at, specifically behind the first row, go from right where that trunk door would close to just in behind the little armrest between the first row seats. So if the driver's seat, passenger seat were forwards or backwards, you'd lose or gain a little bit of extra space. Filling up fuel inside of the Equinox is done just along the driver's side here. One thing is that when the car door is locked, the fuel door is not locked. So it is an unlocked cover, but it's got a capless system that features anti-siphon technology. So someone can't just jam a hose down there in order to try to siphon out fuel. Fuel quality inside of the ride is just a regular 87 octane. So regular fuel is all you need to use inside of this vehicle. You do get pretty decent fuel economy inside of the ride. Rear wheel numbers, I've actually gotten pretty much bang on the manufacturer's specs. Slightly better on highway driving, but outside of that, city highway driving has been pretty much exactly what Chevrolet said that you should expect. Looking at the size of the Equinox, I'm 6 feet tall for reference. I can clearly see over the cars, but since this is the RS trim level, you're going to find roof rack rails right from the factory. There are crossbars that are available, and even in the lower trims, you do have the option for crossbars and roof rack rails if you need them. Inside of the ride, you're going to find a little walkaway lock feature. So as long as it's enabled, you've got the key fob on you, start walking away, the car will eventually lock. There are some other neat key fob tricks that you can do too. So if you want to walk through and how that's done, you'll find that down in the description of this video. The side view mirrors inside of the ride are manual folding. They feature a blind spot monitoring system too. So if somebody enters the blind spot on either side, it's going to highlight there to let you know, and they're also heated. Got a side mounted camera because this one has the full 360 cam. And there's intelligent access there too. So you could push there to lock the door, push again in order to be able to unlock. Hop inside. Now, before we get there, you're going to find the option for driver's seat memory in the higher trims. And then otherwise, the buttons are the same. So control your side views, window controls with some storage, and then the release for the trunk. You've got some basic buttons along the outside there. Inside, manual telescoping steering wheel with some basic pedals. Got carpeted mats there. I normally recommend, well, I do recommend getting the thermoplastic rubber trays, especially if you live somewhere where it's going to get muddy, wet, whatever the case may be. It's way easier to clean those off compared to these mats. You're going to find a few different types of seating material available. Manual seat inside of most trims with the option for these power adjustable. And hopping inside. Ooh. Nice. Oh yeah, look at this. Nice little highlight there. Little animations. With the driver's seat, oh, it is down as far as it's going to go. Okay. So up overhead, I've got 3.5, 4-ish inches of headspace. So I'm 6 feet tall. So 6'4", maybe 6'5", you'll be comfortable inside of this ride. But the seat's comfortable. So I said that there are a few different types of seating material. So it's either going to be cloth seats or there's this Evotex. So it's a leatherette seat. A few different options available. I like how you got that little RS badge inside of this trim level of the ride. Your push button start inside the vehicle. Love that seat memory, super useful. But if you want full walkthroughs, you want to know how to use all the different steering wheel buttons, including cruise control, go through the cluster screen or the infotainment, you'll find walkthroughs down in the description of this video, but it is fully feature packed. There's no head-up display option inside of this car whatsoever, but like I mentioned, cruise control, you've got the option for either adaptive or traditional. You're going to find a heated steering wheel inside of the ride. and there are paddle shifters. So you've got that flexibility. It's a little shift-by-wire system too, so you just pull in order to be able to shift out gears. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but hold on, look at this. The rear view camera inside of the ride, well, even the 360 cam's okay, but the rear view, the quality is fantastic. And this thing, later on at night, it looks great. I love it. You're going to find an infotainment system that's brand new for the 2025 models, carried forward to the 2026s. So it's slightly different layout inside of the cluster. Well, slightly, very different layout inside of the cluster in the infotainment. But if you want full walkthroughs on either this one or the last generation model, you'll find that down in the description. You'll find Apple CarPlay and Android Auto inside of this ride, luckily, that are wireless. It's a Google-based system now too, which means that you've got Google Maps built in. There's so many other cool features inside of this ride, including being able to download additional apps. You've got dual zone climate control inside the vehicle, at least heated first row seats with a packaged option to get you ventilated first row seats too, along with all of your climate control settings. You've got climate control settings built right into the screen that you can control using your voice, but you've also got the flexibility of hitting old school buttons down the middle there too. You're going to find 2 USB power points, so they're a USB-C, USB Type-A, that are both data transfer. There's a wireless charge pad, and then a series of selectable drive modes. So there are 3 unique modes: normal, off-road, and then snow and ice. You're going to play with traction control, stability control, things like that. It does have the off-road mode, but I mean, with the ground clearance, I probably wouldn't go rock crawling with it. You've got some cup holders there, a great amount of storage space. Look at it, I'm almost elbow deep. That is impressive. Down low, you're also going to find a little storage area too. Got this nice highlight throughout the dash. It's kind of like a neoprene. Yeah, you can hear it there. Like a neoprene type of material, but that's offset by this little grain along the top. Down low, got a glove box. It's non-lockable, but a decent amount of space there. Then you've got only a single speaker choice that's available inside of this ride. So it's just a 6-speaker system. You've got, look at that. So if you didn't have the advanced package there in order to get the fully digital rear view, it would just be a traditional instead. That's pretty neat. So you can flip through in order to adjust the brightness. You can zoom in or out if you'd like to. And then you've also got the flexibility of moving it up or down. So it's not difficult to see out of the back, but having that digital option is pretty neat. Up overhead, you've got your OnStar mode, SOS mode, 4-way blinkers with controls for the full panoramic sunroof. So you can create a little breeze if you'd like to. Control for the shade, and then control for the roof. There's a little bug guard there, but that just opens things up so nicely. So a single button press opens it up about halfway. Secondary press is the remainder of the way. Oh, that's nice. From there, there's a sunglasses holder. You've got a little ticket receipt holder on the outside, not on the inside though. There's a vanity mirror though that has lights built in. And then this little feller slides out to block most of the sun. That's gonna be hitting your face. But I mean, overall, the visibility is good, the feature set's good. I love the new infotainment system. You might not be crazy about the fully digital cluster, but you can go into the last generation model, so the 24 and previous, if you'd like to. But the 25s, 26s have this newer setup. Love that there are paddle shifters here though. Minus on the left, plus on the right. But if you've never used paddle shifters before, you'll find a walkthrough on how to use them down in the description of this video. But feature packed. I love that you can switch out between either 2-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Useful, especially if you want better fuel economy during the, well, I guess either summer or winter months, but then being able to switch into an all-wheel drive if you want better traction is useful. All right, on the inside, second row, that same type of material that we found along the dashes there. Since this is the RS, you've got your red and blue stitching there with window control, speaker, and some storage. Then inside. So I've got the driver's seat set up for myself being 6 feet tall. And in the second row, I've got a good amount of knee space, foot space, and head space. So I can sit fully upright. I've got 1.5 inches-ish of head space, which I mean is pretty solid. The seats are locked into place though. So there's no option of reclining them, sliding them forwards or backwards, but I've got space here, which is great. And one nice thing is that there's no hump in the floor, which means easy enough to slide over. And even in the middle seat, I've got about the same, like inch, a little bit less than the outboard, but I can sit in the middle seat. It is not comfortable by any stretch. It's a forgotten seat in every manufacturer, but the seat's there if you need it. If you've got kids, anchor points are there. Top tethers are in behind the seats. You've got some mat pockets behind both the passenger and the driver's side. There's the option for heated second row seats. Not standard across the board, but it's going to be on the outboard. So the middle seat wouldn't be heated. You're going to find some basic vent controls, and then there are 2 USB Type-C power points down there too. Up overhead, you're going to find a little handle and a light. Along the passenger side, there's a handle, hook, and a light along the driver's side. Another thing to point out, you're going to find some cup holders built right into the seat. Overall, so far, I'd say that the Equinox has been a pretty pleasant drive. It's obviously not the most powerful car you're going to be able to find out there, but if you're just looking for a solid SUV to get you from A to B, pretty good choice. There's always the option of going for the Equinox EV if you're looking for something with a little bit more pep. But let's do some en route handling here. It's peppy. That's not too bad. Yeah, handles that pretty nicely. Okay. And then looking at the road noise. So the Equinox does have active noise cancellation. It's fairly quiet inside of the cabin. A little bit of road noise. It's actually not bad by any stretch. But acceptable. Fairly responsive. And the steering wheel is like big and beefy too, so hanging onto the wheel, not a problem by any stretch. And then, turning radius on her. It's actually pretty solid. Put that 1.5 liter engine to work. There we go. Acceptable amount of power inside of this car. And that was a look at the Equinox RS. What'd you think? You can find all of the build details for this one down in the description, along with links off to Chevrolet Canada, US, and all the tech walkthrough videos too. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone if you think they might find it helpful. And until I see you next time, take care.